Okay, so the back of this worksheet 7, probably one of the harder ones in my opinion to deal with because of these different bases. But you do have to mentally kind of have a checklist of things that are likely to happen. So I certainly can't do this in my head. I can't undo add, subtract, multiply, or divide, nothing basic like that. I can't just switch this from its form to the other form. It doesn't look like a factor question. There's a lot of things that's not. So eventually, somewhere on your list, you need to know that you could, and in this question it's necessary, take the log of both sides. Now somebody last period said, well, could you take the natural log of both sides? And absolutely, yes, that's fine. In fact, in calculus, you almost always use natural logs. You almost never use regular logs. But that step, you need to make sure that step is on your radar. Because on the test, if this is a 5 or 6 point question for multiple partial credit, if you don't know that first step, then you're not going to get any credit. Now, the reason why you want to do this is because of the power rule. X is an exponent on something I'm taking the log of, so he can come down out front. X plus 3 is an exponent on something I'm taking the log of, so I can bring him down out front. And I still got several steps to go, but at least it's not an exponential equation anymore. My x is not stuck up in the variable. If you're ever going to solve for this x, you need to distribute this. Log of 2 is just a number. So log of 2 times x, log of 2 times 3. If you're going to solve for x, you need all the x's to be on one side. It's called isolating your x. I'm going to leave this over on the right because it's just a number. And then the other step that I'm concerned that you guys may get to and look at and not know how to move forward, so I'm going to highlight this step as well. Really the only way to, now you'd still get most of the points if you got to this part, but I've got some x's here and some x's there, but the only way to extract x out of that is to think of x as a GCF. Undistribute that x. That also comes up quite a bit in calculus, and I know all my calculus students can factor out a GCF, but a lot of times they get to something like this and they don't think of it on their own. So you need to be looking for that on the test. So now if this is x times this mess, I can undo times with divide. Just make sure you do it to both sides. My answer looks pretty different, so I don't know that I would say I was super confident on this. If I was you on the test, I would circle it, move on. Then as you have more time, test isn't over. Since we're letting you use a calculator this time, then what you should do is type in your answer and store it as x. So that's what I believe x to be. And if that's really the correct answer, then it's supposed to solve the original problem. The original problem was 3 to the x is equal to 2 to the x plus 3. So I don't care what those values are, I just want them to be equal. So the left side equals the right side. So even though this answer looks kind of unfamiliar, I'm still 100% confident in it. It definitely works.